athletes. We're talking about seated box jumps today. Let's see it in full motion, and then I'll break it down for you there. All right, let's talk about this. So, what is it that I'm doing? So before anything actually happens, I'm trying not to think about how high it is. I'm actually trying to look past the weight, past the height, and just tell myself as soon as I stand up, I'm going to be taller than it, right? As soon as I stand up, I'm already taller. So it's just all about putting as much effort into the floor as I can, and I do mean that. So I'll take my big breath, huge breath. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive my arms straight down as hard as I possibly can. This will cause me to tip forward. Now, you probably just saw that I just slightly shifted off of my box just a little bit, right? Right there, I just shift. Now, what I also did, and I'm going to back this up just a touch, is you can see my knees slightly are going to go forward, right? Right there, they start to go forward. Now, this is about as far as they're going to go forward. The reason being, I'm trying to use as much of my quadriceps here as I possibly can. So, in order to do that, I need to make sure that my knee angle comes just behind my toes, right? My ankle flexes a little bit. This is very similar to the mechanics that are going to happen in here when I'm squatting. So, let's bring this a little bit more forward. From here, I'm off the chair just a little bit, and then I start the process of actually jumping. Now, what I'm doing is I'm trying to take my ankle bone right here, and I'm trying to drive this thing as hard down as I possibly can. All right, in doing that, that's going to make sure that all the way through my hips, through my whole legs, all of that energy, again, is going down into the ground. Because the harder I can push down, the more energy that'll actually help me get up. Now, at the same time, as I'm pushing down, I need to make sure that my whole upper body is coming as high and as vertical as I can, as fast as I can. That way, the more energy I'm pushing down and the harder I'm going up, all at the same time, that's going to do one beautiful thing for me. So let's fast forward this and see what happens. As I do that, let's go really slow. So I'm extending down, my arms are coming up, really slow. What you're going to see is this full extension. Now, in that full extension, what I'm trying to achieve is as much stretch as I possibly can in my core, right? So, I went from pushing through my legs here, driving my arms up, so that this right here gets a huge stretch. My hips come through, and that causes my hip flexors right here to stretch. Now, as soon as I let go, and you can see in this shot, I've already let go just a little bit. What that's going to do is it's going to have the exact opposite effect of what I was doing before. So before, remember, I was pushing my legs down, driving my arms up. Now I'm going to have the exact opposite effect. Now, as soon as my hips let go, my legs are naturally going to come up. Now, what I have to make sure happens is that I don't let my torso get bent over too much. Because if that happens, I'm going to fall forward, or I might not get up there because I'll be blocking in my hips and not allowing my knees to come up. So watch what happens. So I'm driving, again, as soon as I let my hips go and stop extending through the floor, my knees are just naturally going to come up. Now, I have to use my arms as a counterbalance, right? You can see that my arms are going straight down and back now so that my torso remains in a pretty similar angle as when I started, or what's very comfortable for me is a squat. My spine is going to land in a very similar angle as I would if I were squatting. That way, when I get up there, I have enough space in my hips to get there. Now look at how cramped I am, right? If I let my body try to tip over at all, right, that wouldn't have allowed my knees to come up this high, right? My knees are almost touching my chin at this point. My arms are helping me put weight forward so that I'm counterbalancing my hips, right? Because my hips are way back here. So now what I'm going to have to do is I have to get all of my mass that way as fast as I can and get it back over my ankle in a squat position so that I can catch myself. You see how I'm driving my knees forward, trying to get back into that same position I was when I was way back on the seat here that we talked about before. And from there, as I'm leant forward, I can catch myself, my arms can come up a little bit, and I can drive my legs back into the boxes so that I can stand up. I push down as hard as I can, and that allows me to stand up at the top of the box. Okay, so once again, I have to go from this position to this same exact position when I'm at the box in order to survive.